Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Deja Vu here, bringing you the second game of the semifinals of the StarCraft Heritage League between Savior and Yellow. This is the second semifinals, as Nada has already taken down Boxer in the first semifinal. In the first game on Outsider, we saw Savior and take down Yellow in a game in which saw both players playing rather passively for most of the game. They both went for very early mirror builds of very early gas, and went for very early Mutalisks, but did not attack really much with those Mutalisks, and rather built up very large clouds of Mutalisks and Scourge, and finally went for a big, massive confrontation that Savior was able to get, in which Savior was able to get the better of Yellow, and was able to ride that to victory, as Yellow was just unable to produce enough Mutalisk and Scourge to really combat Savior's forces. And here we're going to have Savior in Yellow, and Yellow in Teal. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Savior in Yellow at the top left start position here on Neo Medusa at the 10 o'clock, and Yellow will be in Teal at the 3 o'clock position. That is going to be awfully confusing, even worse than the last game where they changed the colors, I believe, twice, and it was also very, very confusing. But, okay, gonna try and keep that straight. Savior is in Yellow, and Yellow is not in Yellow. Yellow is in Teal. Both players are starting out by sending their Overlords in the wrong position. We'll see whether or not either or both goes for very, very early tech like they did last time. Both of them went for Overlord with gas. So they went for Overgas and then got a pool later, which is the build that we saw popularized on Battle Royale. It really was the dominant build on that map for ZVZ games. It was almost every single game with both players doing that. Very rarely, sometimes you'd see overpool with gas rather than overgas with pool. But, yeah, that was a build that was very, very popular. And both players look like they're going Overlords first. Yeah, we will be seeing Overlords first. We'll see if either player decides to go for gas, or if they throw down a spawning pool, or anything along those lines, and goes for maybe more of an early game strategy. Or if they both decide that they just want to tech up to Mutalisks again, and just try and dominate that way. It does look like Savior's actually throwing down a spawning pool. Yeah, Savior is throwing down a spawning pool, so that is an overpool build from him. And Yellow, let's see what he's doing. Go, click back on. Okay, so that's overpool with gas for Savior, and for Yellow, it looks like it's going to be a 12 pool for Yellow, is what it's looking like at this moment. Yeah, that is a 12 pool for Yellow, but his gas, he needs to get a gas up, and yeah, that we do see the gas going up there, so he'll be fine. He's not going to really fall too far behind in terms of the gas count, and his spawning pool will be up well in time in order to counter any Zerglings that Savior is really able to produce. Savior's Zerglings will not be able to get to Yellow's base before Yellow Zerglings also pop out, when the difference between the overpool and the 12 pool build is just not significant enough. And it looks like Yellow's actually sending out a drone here. I hope he's not going for a hatchery. Yellow is going for a hatchery here. This could be deadly dangerous for him, going for a 12 pool into hatchery and gas. This could be very, very bad for him if he's unable to defend. Very few players are able to do this kind of a build and survive against any sort of an early pressure. And we are going to see what pops out of here for Savior. If it is, yes, it is going to be 6 links. And Yellow's really going to need to pump out Zerglings as fast as possible. He's only got 1 egg right now producing Zerglings. He needs those other 2 to produce Zerglings, and he needs to get them there fast, because as soon as Savior gets to his base, he's going to see that hatchery and going to know that he can go for early pressure, and it's going to produce a lot of Zerglings. And also, yeah, we're going to get to see whether or not Yellow's micro is really up to snuff. We do see a lot of times older players struggle in micro fights with the newer players that just have it so practiced. And Savior is, even though both of them are older generation, Savior is certainly more modern than Yellow. Yellow was the first big Zerg, whereas Savior came a little bit later in 06 and 07. And here comes Yellow pulling off a ton of drones to try and combat all of these Zerglings. And that is just a massive number of drones. And actually, one Zergling getting into Yellow's main mineral line looks like it might actually be able to take down a drone there as well. We'll see. I did not get to see whether or not it actually went down. And Savior is absolutely just marching Zerglings in. And this hatchery is already down to about half health or so. But this is a very interesting fight. But these are a lot of drones that aren't mining. This is a big advantage right now for Savior if he can do some damage here, as these drones are not mining at all. Yes, Yellow is gaining in terms of larva, but he's really going to need to have to defend here. Otherwise, Savior looks like he has more Zerglings. Savior does have more Zerglings, able to take down a lot of Zerglings for Yellow. Unfortunately, the drones were able to get there in time and able to do some more damage. Savior coming back in, picking off almost all of the Zerglings. Only a couple of Zerglings left, only a handful of Zerglings left for Yellow, and Yellow's going to be really on his back foot here. Really going to be on his back foot, and the Spire already going up for Savior. I don't know if Yellow even has his lair up and running quite yet. I really want to see whether or not he has his lair up and running, because if he does not get the Spire, no, he has not even started teching to Spire or teching to lair. This game is almost over right now. This is absolutely terrible for Yellow. This might be done very, very quickly. As soon as those first mulas pop out for Yellow or for Savior, this is becoming actually a important difference in the timing, since since Yellow is so far behind in terms of his layer tech. Yellow is going to have to devote a lot to these Zerglings and do a lot of damage with these Zerglings. We still have not even seen a layer morphing for Yellow, although I assume at this point his layer is morphing. I hope that it is, otherwise this is going to be a very ugly and disappointing end to this series, to see Yellow go down to just Mutalisk because he didn't even bother to produce Mutalisk. And it looks like Savior actually going to pick off a drone here and getting some more Mutalisk into the main and actually taking down another drone, taking down 2 drones maybe. No, 2 drones go down, and now Savior is definitely in a big time lead, killing a 3rd drone. The layer still not even finished morphing in yet, and this is going to be very, very ugly for Yellow. I think we're going to see him fall in just a few short moments. The first Mutalisks are out, and those 3 Mutalisks should be enough in order to eradicate Yellow's drones if they so choose. Although Yellow does have a lot of Zerglings, so Savior's going to have to be careful and make sure that he has Mutalisks at home, or creep colonies at home. I believe he was building a second colony at home in order to counter the Zerglings that will be coming his way. Now, a creep colony is there, but that's just not going to do anything without an evolution chamber to turn into a spore colony, and those 3 Mutalisks are absolutely just going to do a ton of damage. Okay, there is a evolution chamber out, so that creep colony at the expansion can turn into a spore colony, but there's Zerglings that are able to take down that spore colony. Now, a ton of Zerglings for Yellow coming into Savior's base, but there is a second colony for Savior, and there is a second sunken colony morphing, and these 2 sunken colonies might be enough. It's a matter of whether or not Yellow's micro's up to the task in order to get to these sunken colonies, and Savior doing a good job of protecting his second sunken colony with drones, and it looks like Savior has won this. Savior is going to win this game, protecting his main. Savior is absolutely going to win this. Yellow is done. Yellow is out of this tournament. For all intents and purposes, there is the GG from Yellow. Yellow is done. Went for that big-time Zergling rush as he just was unable to get his lair up and running. That early hatchery was just so risky for him, and he really paid for it. Seen so few players able to go for that early hatchery and really survive. Jaedong, of course, although Jaedong has shown in ZVZ that he can win with almost any build order, Jaedong is just the ZVZ master, and you can't really use him as an example for much of anything in terms of normal ZVZ play, or even top-class ZVZ play. He's just a notch above everyone else. So even when top players play against each other, excluding Jaedong, the player going for the early hatchery has to play extremely, extremely well in order to survive. And Yellow, unfortunately, was unable to do it, and falls here to Savior. He went for a risky build here since he was already down 1 game, and he goes down. So we're going to see Savior and Nada again here at the finals of the Heritage League. We're going to see a rematch. I believe that they met at the, what was it? I think they met in an OSL, maybe it was an MSL. I believe they met in either an OSL or an MSL, and Nada was able to take him down. And that was one of the big events in which Savior really started falling off the map after that. I think it was, not actually able to figure it out. No, yeah, it was the OGN Masters League. Yeah, in 2007, Nada took down Savior in the finals of that league, and that was like the last nail in the coffin for Savior as he began his slump. But Savior is able to take down Nada here in the group stages, so we'll see whether or not he's able to ride that to victory. That'll be coming up very, very shortly in the next couple days. As soon as the VODs are out, I'll be able to cast it and bring it to you as soon as possible. I hope you all are enjoying this this Heritage League. The only games left are the finals. It's going to be Savior and Nada in what will hopefully be a very epic best of 3 match, and I will see you all there in the finals as soon as those VODs are released.